guys, welcome once again to the Coffee and Hero Show. Once again coming to you live, semi-live, from inside the store. So just going to be taking you through, as ever, my favourite titles of last week, what to look forward to this week, take you through my pull list, what sort of graphic novels have come into the store that you can look forward to picking up from tomorrow. So recording this on a Tuesday as always, but the idea is always going to be to drop this on a new comic book day. So hope this is a format that's a bit easier to follow and a bit more relevant. Always good when you've got some extra new comic book day material as well. So as we were in the store, really nice busy week again last week. Again, the reception to us reopening has been fantastic. Lots of compliments for what we're doing. You know, we've continued to increase those stock levels. I've put out a whole pile of new issues into the bays. The Marvel Comics single issues especially are selling very well at the moment. Comic packs are selling well. So we're always, even though we worked really hard and got a lot of stock into the bays for reopening, we've continued to do that. So there's new stuff going in every day. I just put some new Amazing Spider-Man in there today. I just put some new Hawkeye in there today, some new Hulk issues. I'm also going around and redoing all of the boxes underneath. So we had them in traditional comic boxes, but I've went now for these plastic ones, or you can just see them in the background there. So you can actually see into the tubs of what's in there. Of course, they'll all be alphabetized, but I'm going through them, repricing them, reorganizing them. Again, making it as easy as possible for you guys to negotiate the back issues and look through the sheer wealth of content we have. As ever though, if you can find something here, do have a look on the website as well. We've continued to upload more and more stuff there. We have more stuff going on this Thursday. There's the new releases up for this week already as well. So we're going to be adding to the website all the time on top of that. So I did put a little thing out last week actually about pull lists. So just anybody who watches this that has a pull list with us, if it's something that you no longer want us to carry, if you can just let us know. We're going to be giving it one more week, and then after that, anybody who hasn't got in touch with us or hasn't let us know that they don't want a pull list anymore, I mean, that's the thing, you might not be able to get in the next week, and that's absolutely understandable, but if you could just let us know. You know, I had the news yesterday, a guy who let 33 issues pile up, just decided he didn't want them anymore and just sort of was like, well, maybe you can sell them to someone else. It's not really the point. You know, we obviously get in issues based on pre-orders people give us. We never want you guys to miss an issue. So therefore, we're going to keep getting those in unless you let us know otherwise. You know, everybody's got a phone in their hand these days. Just drop us a message. We have no problem cancelling a pull list like that. If it's a case of you no longer want it, you know, we will never pressure anybody into buying anything or picking stuff up that's been pre-ordered. You know, we're not those type of people. But if you can just give us a heads up, it would be really appreciated, because otherwise we are left with issues that, you know, maybe someone wanted a few months ago and then maybe they've went somewhere else to get them and they no longer come back to us. So it's just costing us a little bit. So again, if you can just let us know, guys, if you ever need a copy of your pull list, just send us a message. I'll do a screen grab, send it to you. You want to make changes, you want to add things, you want to take things off. We're as flexible as can be with it. But again, you just have to, if you can just let us know. So as I say, I'll give it until next Friday, the end of next week, and anybody who hasn't been in touch, we'll cancel the pull list then. We presume that they don't want them anymore. So there might be some even more new stock going out onto the shelves, we shall see. Make sure to check out the podcast network as always. So a new pod put on there yesterday with myself and Keith, new reviews podcast going through our favorite titles. I'll take you through some of the ones here that I enjoyed the most last week, but we obviously go into them in much more detail and have a good chat about them as well. So, but to those titles from last week. So these were some of my favorites from last week. I had a pretty big pull list as ever. I think it was like 29 titles or something. I had my whole pull list read by Friday last week. That was an absolute miracle. So it allowed me to go back and read some older stuff as well. But these were the ones that stood out for me. So Joker number 3, I thought again was absolutely superb. We've got second prints of Joker number 2 coming out this week, and we have Joker 1 on the website. So if you fancy getting into Joker, we have all 3 issues so far. It's just been a great series. James Tinney in the 4th, Guillaume March, just absolutely killing it. And then there's some really good backup punchline stuff in that as well. Another one I really enjoyed this week was Future State Gotham. So this is Joshua Williamson is continuing to play in the Future State universe. And the art in this one is by Gianni Malogiananis. And it's a black and white issue, which is really interesting. You know, Future State was full of color and neo-noir stylings and, you know, cyberpunk stylings. It's interesting to see it in stark black and white. It actually has a bit of a manga type feel to it, but really dug the first issue of that. One thing I'm absolutely loving is Silver Coin. So this is the horror anthology series Michael Walsh is drawing all of the issues of. First issue was great. Chip Zdarsky wrote that, I beg your pardon. For the second one, it's Kelly Thompson. And anyone who's a fan of like Friday the 13th movies, for example, definitely get this issue. They're all standalone issues, so you can even dip in and out of it if you like. You don't have to collect every issue, but I would recommend every issue because it's been great so far. We also have Spider-Man Spider's Shadow, so we reached number 2 of that. Same again, we have number 1 and number 2 in stock at the moment, so if you fancy jumping on this, we can get you sorted. It is essentially Chip Zdarsky and Pascal Ferry's take on the What If story. What if Peter had just given in to the symbiote and essentially become Venom? This issue was especially great just because of the relationship that Spider-Man's always had with J. Jonah Jameson. You know, essentially this is a newspaper editor who has always slighted Spidey, said he's a threat, said he's a menace. And in this one, it's all about, well, what would happen if Pete snapped and suddenly realized he didn't like that negative publicity. Great series, that so far. Rorschach continues to go from strength to strength. So this is issue 8 of 12. So again, Tom King, Jorge Fornes. This is again getting better and better as well. We have quite a lot of the back issues of this because I always ordered big on it because I think that people are coming to this series slightly slowly. But for example, it's someone in last week and they picked up all 8 issues and then they're obviously subbed on it for the rest of the series. This is brilliant storytelling. And then my title of the week was actually an indie title that nobody was reading. This is a title called Carmen. It's by Guillaume March, so the artist of Joker. He actually writes and draws this one. I go into great detail on the podcast on this, and when this hits graphic novel, I will be pushing the heck out of it because it is brilliant. It is easily one of the best titles of this year so far, and issue 3 was the best issue so far. So again, if you want to know a bit more info on this, have a listen to the pod. Or, you know, just ask me in store and I'll happily bend your ear about it for 5 or 10 minutes. Just brilliant stuff. On a par with stuff like, you know, Sandman, that kind of thing. In terms of the ideas in it, the ideas of death, the ideas of mortality, the ideas of what you leave behind should you selfishly take your own life. It goes into a lot of really heavy themes, but also does it in a really playful way. So just a really good title. And again, I will be pushing the heck out of that when it hits trade. So that was last week. What about this week? So just to keep you guys informed as well, I'll put it up on the social media stuff tomorrow, but there were a lot of titles this week that didn't ship. I saw it straight away when I saw my invoice last Friday and was sort of wondering where certain titles were. And then we got an email from Diamond at about 4 o'clock yesterday saying that certain titles hadn't shipped. They hadn't come over from the US on time. It happens from time to time, and it does tend to happen more with DC titles simply because DC changed their release schedule in the States to be a Tuesday rather than a Wednesday. So I think certain books aren't printed in time to be shipped to this side of the world if they're being released earlier over there. But just to give you a heads up, so ones that were due this week but haven't come in, and they should come next week. Nightwing, I know, I'm very sad about that too. Justice League was due this week, but again, it'll be next week. The Flash is another one, and Batman Legends of the Dark Knight. I think there may be 1 or 2 other indie titles as well that we don't order loads of, but they were conspicuous by their absence on the invoice. But again, when Diamond told us that there were things missing, they didn't tell us what was missing. Just have to work it out for ourselves, I guess. But that hasn't stopped me having quite the large pull list, to say the least. So just to show you what I've got. So I have a couple of issues here that aren't bagged and boarded because they arrived damaged. I have replacements coming for myself, but if issues arrive damaged and they're on my pull list, I just always take them for myself so I can read them, and then when the replacements come, they go into the collection. But new issue this week of Stillwater, so we're coming back to the town of Stillwater. The trade paperback is out for issues 1 to 6, and then this is issue 7, so the perfect time to jump on it. Brilliant title so far from Chip Zdarsky and Ramon K. Perez about a town where you can't grow old in it, you don't die as long as you don't leave the limits of that time. But really digging that. I'm really excited to see that back. There's a cool little series I've been enjoying called Stray Dogs, which is essentially the Silence of the Lambs meets, I don't know, Babe or Animal Farm or something like that. But it's really cool. They do these horror homage covers, which I collect, and again it arrived pretty badly damaged and the joys of it. But again, there's replacements coming for me. But this is by Tony Fleeks is the writer on this one, and Trish Faulkner is the artist. This is issue 4 of 5, so trade will be not far away on that, but it's a really fun little title. We have Wolverine number 12, so Benjamin Percy continuing on the Wolverine stuff. and I believe the artist is Scott Eaton, if I am not wrong. I am not wrong. Scott Eaton on art for that as well. So those were my ones that arrived damaged. What about my ones that arrived not damaged? Well, they're all safely bagged and boarded. So what we've got here is Walking Dead Deluxe. So we're up to issue 15. Yep, issue 15. I collect the connecting covers of this, so that's why it's a slightly different cover to what the normal one would be. But of course that doesn't stop me collecting cover A's as well. So Walking Dead Deluxe 15. Walking Dead's a strange one. I never know how much to order because I think given that it's going to be fortnightly, it's going to be quite relentless. It's a title that I don't see people jumping on late. I kind of think you're on it from the start or you're not on it at all. I ordered 1 or 2 extras, but not loads because you just never know. I've been loving this Kaiju series, Ultra Mega. We're up to issue 3 of that. So this is James Harron and Dave Stewart on colours. So that's the cover A. And then I also get the 1 to 5 variant for that as well. So it's always a lovely black and white variant by comparison. So that is that. We have Truth and Justice number 4, which is the DC Anthology series. Different story every issue. I'm looking forward to this because it's Rob Gilroy on art, who is so well known for Chew. I haven't really seen him tackle superheroes before. I get the feeling there's going to be a bit more comedy in this because his art style is a little bit comedic. So I'll look forward to that. We have the latest issue of Scumbag. Again, a title I can't recommend enough. Certain people have dropped off this, which is absolutely fine. But for me, I think this is great. And there's a lot more depth to it than you might think. And there's a lot of commentary on America and the modern world and so forth. So I'm really digging that. That's Rick Remender. Next issue of Redemption. So great steampunk cowboy title, AWA Studios. Krista Faust on writing, Mike Deodato Jr. on art. This is issue 4 of 5, so again, the trade won't be far away on that. We have a new Ed Piskor horror anthology. Now, I think I only have 1 of these left, and that's it. This is done by Fantagraphics Comics, which is always going to be a small press publisher. It's 64 pages. It's banned in 5 countries, apparently. But it's a horror anthology that's designed to be a one and done. But I think there will be a second one coming, but it won't be related to the first, so you can just pick up what you want to pick up as you go. We have We Only Find Them When They're Dead coming back, which is Al Ewing and Simone de Mayo's hard sci-fi title. So again, the trades are in store for issues 1 to 5, and then this is issue 6, so this is the start of the second story arc. That's the Red Room 1 to 5 variant as well. Can't help myself. We also have Radiant Black out this week, so really digging this Kyle Higgins, Marcelo Costa series. A little bit of an ode to Power Rangers, a little bit of Invincible to it as well. Enjoying that so far. We have the second issue of Columban and Mark Torres's Phantom on the Scan, which is a dark psychological horror. Issue 2 is this week, and issue 1, I think we pretty much still have issue 1s in stock as well, so good one to dig into. We have Orcs out this week. This is issue 4. Which I'm really enjoying of that. It's a Kaboom title. It's a more of an all ages title, but I'm really enjoying it. It sort of has a look at orcs not as these horrible grunty creatures, but you know, what if they were the good guys? We have Jonah and the Impossible Monsters. So this is the title from the Samneys, Chris and Laura Samney, and again, really cool adventuring for that one. We also have I Walk with Monsters, which is a Vault Nightfall comic, and it is dark horror, so it is, and really enjoying that. First issue of Home was absolutely brilliant. It was all about illegal immigrants trying to get into America, and one of the girls who's trying to get across the border exhibits superpowers. Really good issue 1 of that. I think we've 1 copy left on the website, but it is class. We have Engine Ward, so we're up to issue 10. Yep, 10 of 12 of this. A series that only I'm reading, but I might push that quite a bit when it hits trade because it's really good. Because I don't have enough of them, I have Berserker number 1, the 4th print. Clearly I don't have enough with my first print and my cover B and my foil covers and my 1 to 25s and Kenny Reeves and Matt Kent. Damn you. We have Daredevil number 30, easily one of my titles of the week. Again, Chip Zdarsky, Marco Cicchetto on that. Love me some Daredevil. You're probably sick of listening to me talking about Daredevil at this point. We also have the Immortal Hulk, Time of Monsters. So this is a one-shot set within the world of the Immortal Hulk. So Al Ewing on that, and Alex Pacadadel, I believe. Yep. And also one of my favorite artists on that, Juan Ferreira. Again, this is a Vicky title. Sorry, Keith, I don't want to blast past it too quickly. It might give me a bit of abuse. But I'm going to jump into War of the Bounty Hunters and give it a go. So this is Star Wars Bounty Hunters number 12, and this is one of the prelude titles to that Star Wars event. We also have Ultraman, The Trials of Ultraman. We're up to issue 3 of that, so again, Kyle Higgins, enjoying that. And then one last one. This was actually due out last week, but our copies only came this week. Again, the joys of Diamond. Challenges of the Super Sons. So we're up to issue 2 of that. There are 1 or 2 other titles. I took 1 or 2 home last night and dipped straight into them. There was Catwoman out this week, so issue 31. Really enjoying that series. Ram V is doing some absolutely brilliant stuff on it. And the other one I took home to read, which was brilliant as well, it's that man Ram V again, and it's The Many Deaths of Lila Starr. It was issue 2 of 5, and it was a class. So that is my pull list for the week, but as well as those titles going on sale tomorrow, I'll just show you some of the trades that we got in this week. So a couple of trades, a couple of omnibuses, and these are all brand new and going out onto the shelves tomorrow. So a couple of omnibuses first of all. So they have this big hefty bad boy first of all, which is Aliens. So this is Marvel collecting together a lot of the original Dark Horse stuff and collecting it into omnibus form. So this is a big bad boy. The RRP in this runs about £115. We're actually selling it at 105 though, so we are, and that is a heck of a lot of content there. You've got Aliens 1988 1-6, Aliens 1989 1-4, Aliens Earth War, Aliens Genocide, Aliens Hive, Aliens Tribes, etc, etc, etc. Just tons of stuff in there, and that's a really class volume that I may have one of at home for myself. We also have Untold Tales of Spider-Man this week. So this is a collection of all new adventures set in the earliest days of Spider-Man's career. You've got stuff in here from Amazing Fantasy, stuff from Spider-Man, stuff from Untold Tales, the single issue series as well. You've also got a couple of annuals in here. You've got Strange Encounter. So a lot of good stuff for the Spidey fan in your life. Trade-wise, we have Bite Size Volume 1. So that's another AWA title hitting this week. All ages, really cool. This was Colin Bunn, and again it comes in at that £9 price point, which AWA titles are great for. We have the latest collection of Death Metal in this week as well. So this is Death Metal War of the Multiverses. So you're getting a couple put together here set within the Death Metal storyline. So you've got Last Stories of the DC Universe #1 and Death Metal Last 52 War of the Multiverses #1. Ton of behind the scenes materials as well. I specifically remember Last Stories of the DC Universe being brilliant. It was all about if like the DC Universe was about to explode and everybody was about to die, how would they want to spend their last night? Really, really cool, that one. We have the complete collection of Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider in as well. So this is very comprehensive. Again, you've got all new Ghost Rider 1-12, along with Ghost Rider 1-5 and the What If Ghost Rider title in that as well. Really cool little image title this week, volume 1 of this. This is Homesick Pilots. This is sort of a, this is for fans of stuff like, say, True Lives of Fabulous Killjoys or Doom Patrol. Very Jared Way-esque, but this is done by Dan Waters, and there's some good horror in this, so it is. It's often being pitched as Power Rangers meets The Shining, so cool title. As if by magic, the next title is Power Rangers. So this is from the Boom relaunch. Mighty Morphin Volume 1 is already in the store. And then we have Power Rangers Volume 1 as well from Ryan Parrott. And then also Power Rangers wise, we've got Dragon's New Dawn arriving in graphic novel form as well. So tons of good stuff as always. And there were a couple of other little top-ups that have already been put out there. You know, I was missing Sex Criminals #2 of 1-6, ordered #2 in. I was missing a couple of Walking Dead issues, topped that up, got Dark Knight Returns back in. So yeah, we're adding to the graphics all the time, so hopefully there is something for everyone there. But I'll finish off, as I always like to, with a few bits and pieces of news that caught our eye from the last week in the comic world. So first of all, there was the announcement a few weeks ago of John Romita Jr. returning to Marvel. And we now know what the first thing he's working on is. It's going to be Fantastic Four. He's going to be working on that with Dan Slott. It's always exciting to have John Romita Jr. back at Marvel. You know, House of Ideas, he cut his teeth there. Hopefully down the line we'll see some Spider-Man stuff, or we'll see some Daredevil stuff, as that's what he's really, really well known for. I'd mentioned there about Silver Coin, the horror anthology series. Now, I'm a big fan of that. The first 2 issues have been superb. And what's cool about it is it was originally solicited as a 5-issue miniseries. Well, it's actually been upgraded now to ongoing. And this is great news because even the format for it is excellent because you have a different writer every issue. So you can appeal to all the writers out there in comics. You know, the first run is going to have from the likes of Chip Zdarsky, you know, and Kelly Thompson and Ed Brisson and writers like that. But now you can pull in anybody. You know, you could get Kieran Gillen writing an issue, you could get Tom Taylor writing an issue, Tom Keane writing an issue, get Dan Slott writing an issue, get Nick Spencer writing an issue. There's tons of great possibilities here because they're all self-contained one-shots. So I was really, really excited to see that come to an ongoing as opposed to a limited series. There was also this week we received our Elsa Chartier Kickstarter. This was something I mentioned a few weeks ago, and it was essentially a Kickstarter for her art, the second volume of her art book, which I was already excited about. But then it came with this little mini story called We Run, which is one of the best things I've ever read. I put it out on Twitter last week. You know, it's like, how can a 14 to 16 page title be so captivating, so moving, and have so much to say? Now, it's a reduced size one. It's almost like the Ashcan size of comics. But what I'm going to do is, I mean, I'm a comic reader first. Simple as that. I'm going to bring that issue down. This is the only way you're really going to be able to read it because I don't think it has enough content to be a wide release unless, you know, they work on a lot of short stories or something like that and put a collection together. But I'm going to bring my copy down. I'm going to have it in store. If you've seen this video and you've heard me talking about it, or I talk about it in the podcast as well, just pop in. I'm going to have it behind the counter. If you're sitting having a cup of coffee or a can of Coke or whatever, and you're just sitting in for 20 minutes and you want to get lost in this world, I will have the copy here. I would love for it to be well read and frayed at the edges and slightly torn, and you know, because that's what it's all about. And this issue was genuinely phenomenal. It is one of the best things I've read this year. It made a good juxtaposition with Carmen that I was talking about earlier, the Gay and March title. Made a really good juxtaposition with that because they actually tackle a lot of the same themes. So again, just pop in, and if you see me here and you want to read it, I will have it behind the counter. There's also a new title announced this week. Great to have comic news this week. But David M. Boer, who of course we're big fans of through Canto, you know, we interviewed him on the podcast. You can find that interview on our podcast network. But he has a new series coming out from Dark Horse called Killer Queens, which is described as a queer sci-fi epic dreamed up by an all-LGBTQ creative team. So the 4-part series, meet Max and Alex, two gay reformed intergalactic assassins for hire on the run. Their former boss, a fluffy monkey with a jetpack, if that doesn't sell it, I don't know what will, is hot on their tail to take back his stolen ship. Even reformed assassins have to eat, so they take a mission from Alex's old flame, your standard no-kill, casualty-free kidnapping recovery from a nearby moon. Only complication, half the moon is ruled by a fascist dictator hostile to foreigners. They're the Killer Queens, so what could possibly go wrong? So this looks really, really cool. You know, we're big fans of David M. Boer. We always say to people, follow creators rather than characters. So I think that'll be one to jump onto. We also had the Snake Eyes trailer drop this week. So G.I. Joe Origins Snake Eyes. This looked really sweet. I have to say, I'm not a massive G.I. Joe guy. I don't know a lot about the history or the lore. I've never read a lot of the comics. But this looked visually really interesting. It looked like it had pretty good action. It's nice that they're starting with origin stories. I mean, I remember watching the first G.I. Joe. I didn't mind it. I didn't really like the second one, but I thought the first one was actually pretty good. I had no problems with it whatsoever. It was entertaining. It was no more than that. But yeah, I think I'll definitely be going to the cinema to see this, and of course it comes at a time where we all just want to get to the cinema, so of course we'll go and see it. Netflix are also setting up a new Ultraman animated film. I spoke there a little bit about Trials of the Ultraman, and a series I'm really enjoying from Kyle Higgins. Well, now Netflix are going to be doing a Ultraman animated film, something to keep an eye out for there. And as well as that, you have the upcoming Masters of the Universe Revelation coming out, and this is co-written and co-created by Kevin Smith. There is going to be a prequel comic to that as well, Masters of the Universe Revelations, and it's again co-written by Kevin Smith. And then you have the animated series, which is coming from Netflix, I believe in July, thereabouts. So something to keep an eye out for there as well. And then just one final bit, which I'm really happy to see. And, you know, we're obviously so close to moving out of lockdown and getting back to a sense of normality with our lives. And I'm so keen for cinemas to open up. I cannot tell you. You know, at the end of this month, you have A Quiet Place 2. We've got Black Widow coming soon. There's a lot of good stuff coming up. But I see now that with Dune, the Denis Villeneuve adaptation of the classic sci-fi novel, it's going to be cinema first. Now, it was a case of this was going to be an HBO Max same-day launch, but it looks like they've moved away from that, and it's actually going to get an exclusive theatrical window, which will help with the theatrical experience and give it a bit more strength as well. So it's going to launch in theaters October 1st. It's going to premiere at the Venice Film Festival in September, and then it just says it's going to find its way to HBO Max at a later date. If it follows the 45-day theatrical window, which is becoming pretty standard at the moment, then it'll hit out around late November. But seeing this in the big screen, that's what this movie was made for. So I'm really looking forward to hitting the cinema for that. So yeah, so there you go. That's the latest episode of Coffee and Hero Show. Hope you found it useful as always. Again, any titles catch your eye or anything coming out you like the look of, drop us a message and we'll always get you sorted. We don't have tons of titles for the racks this week in terms of spares because quite a few copies arrived damaged, as I showed you. And obviously we're missing a few titles as well. But again, just get in touch with us and we'll always do our best to get you guys sorted so that you don't miss out. But I hope you're staying safe out there. I'll look forward to seeing you guys in store throughout the week, and take it easy.